Welcome to the Panavox channel. I'm Joe.
And I'm Eric, and today we're gonna list our top five favorite Beatles songs.
Top five.
And I'm gonna give my top five, and Joe's gonna give his top five. And we like to hear your opinions of what your top favorite Beatles songs are. And do you agree or disagree with our choices?
So we'll start with number five first. So maybe I'll go first,
Yeah, you can go first.
and then for my number five position, I have a track from the Sgt. Pepper's album, the first song on the second side, "Within You and Without You." This
Oh, yeah.
majestic piece by George Harrison. And the
Good
reason that's,
pick.
yeah, thank you. The reason that I have that high up on the list is because it's not even really a rock and roll song. It's not, in a lot of ways, it's not even really a pop song. And that's one of the reasons that I really like that song a lot, the incredible audacity of coming up with something like that on what we thought was a rock and roll or a popular music album.
Yeah, yeah,
There's nothing really rock and roll, and there's certainly nothing pop music about Within You and Without You. That being said, you take traditional Indian tabla, Indian sitar, which the song has for sure, but he puts it into a structure that is much more Western than you typically hear with that style of music with sitar and tabla music. Tabla is the percussion in there,
hmm
and it's quite an accomplishment because you still have kind of a Western structure to the song, very Western, and yet it's very much also a song of the East. So um, it's really a unique song, even to this day. I've never, because I listen to a lot of Indian sitar and Indian tabla music on Spotify. I've been doing so for a number of years. It's great because I would never get that much of that music otherwise. I mean, it costs a lot of money to listen to all that stuff. But listening to all of the stuff that's produced in India, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, but none of it has the structure that Within You, Without You has. And I think it's really amazing that George Harrison was able to make that style of music accessible to us. And it's funny because he kind of hits a middle point between, being a full-on pop rock and roll song, and on the one hand, and being full-on traditional Indian sitar and tabla music.
yeah,
So he's kind of in this middle ground where if you're listening from India, you would hear it, you would go, that sounds very, very Western. And of course, you hear it listening it from our perspective, and you say, oh, that sounds way too Eastern to be on a Beatles album. So he kind of found, and I didn't even realize it when I first heard the song, I just thought it sounded really exotic. But now that I've been listening to all the tabla and sitar music, I think no, it actually he did a lot to make it really accessible to people like me. But that was great because it was like a gateway song for me to discover a lot of beautiful Eastern music. And it's also a very compelling song. I love the play on words in the title, "Within You and Without You," because he says life goes on within you and without you. So that has a double meaning. It could mean on the outside of you, or it could also mean what if you're not here anymore, it will still go on. So
yeah.
interesting. But and I imagine that play on words is only going to work in English. Uh,
hmm
yeah, because it
Right, right.
may not work in the Indian language or in. I mean, I can tell you what it means in Spanish, literally, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work as a play on words in Spanish, but it does work in English. Um,
hmm
so, and it's cool because that play on words also, ties into George Harrison's spiritual perspective. So, a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, that's a great song. I like I think that's one of the songs that makes that album so great. Like I don't think Sergeant Pepper's would have been as great an album without that song on it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think there's a
It
lot of
just
respect.
has this just mysterious
Mhm.
vibe to it that I just love it.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, a lot of people are divided on that because I've written some critical commentary about, people who otherwise really love the Sgt. Pepper's album and they're like, that's the worst song on the album. That's the one I dislike the most. It put me to
Uh,
sleep. I didn't like it. Nah. And weird because to me it was like one of the best songs on the album. So,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
there's no bad songs on that album anyway. I mean, Sergeant Pepper's, come on, man. That's one of the greatest albums ever recorded.
Yeah, I agree. What's your number five?
Okay, for number five, I've got Hey Bulldog.
Oh, White Album.
No, no, actually that was on the I'm not sure if it was ever on a British album. The first album I had that had Bulldog on it was on the Hey Jude album, which was a Capitol release.
Hmm.
And it
Is it on
had
the Yellow Submarine release, maybe? Is that where it's from?
yeah, it might have been on Yellow Submarine.
Ah, yeah.
I never had Yellow Submarine. But
Yeah.
actually, the first time I heard Bulldog, it was on this. A friend of mine had these Beatles compilation tapes, and the name of that compilation was Rock and Roll Music,
Hmm.
and it had all the Beatles, like their more rockin' type songs, like from early in their career all the way up to their later years.
Hmm.
That was a great compilation. That was actually that's actually what turned me on to some of their earlier music
Hmm.
because though at that time their only early music that I really knew was stuff like I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I thought they were just kind of like a boy band when they first started, but they did have some more rockin' type songs on their early albums.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Hey Bulldog, yeah, that's just such a great, unique song. It's just got a great rhythm to it, and it's just it sticks in your head, and it's kind of got some funny stuff in it towards the end. It's like the Beatles condensed into one song. You kind of get this humor, and you got this great rhythm and like cool guitar and everything. And
Yeah,
it's one of their greatest songs, I think. Well, it's their fifth greatest song,
yeah.
according to me.
They got some lightning in the bottle with that song, I think.
Yeah,
They
they really
yeah,
did. They really
special
did.
inspiration. Okay, well, I'll move to my number four tune. My number four top Beatles song is a song that a lot of people dislike. But I love it, and I've always loved it. And some people consider it to be a throwaway track on the Magical Mystery Tour album. It's a purely instrumental track. Can you guess which song I'm referring to?
Sounds like flying.
That's right. Da 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 da. Yeah, I just thought that that's like the greatest. When I was a teenager, back in the 80s, I remember thinking that's just the greatest song the Beatles ever did.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. It's because like that little mellotron that comes in there
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
the little kind of the trip out ending where it's like you're literally flying. And
yeah,
I just think that little instrumental track is just a masterpiece. There's just
yeah,
a moment of supreme inspiration in it. And I know it's not, I mean, if you want to be like, well, it's not the most, uh, you know, technically accomplished piece of music that they ever did. It's just a couple of chords and it's repetitive and there's nothing musically very interesting about it. And I don't care about all that. I just think that they laid down a magnificent vibe on that track, you know.
They really did,
That's
man.
all I can think about, you
I
know.
love the drum beat and
Yeah,
that guitar, and it's like blow, 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 blow. I'm not even sure if that was a bass or a guitar playing that, but it just sounds cool.
it's
And like all the
amazing.
Mellotron stuff. And I
Yeah,
think that flute at the end might be a Mellotron too, actually, or
it
some kind
is.
of like
Yeah.
tape loop or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the rhythm guitar. I don't know how they got that particular tone out of that guitar, but it's indescribably cool guitar
Yeah,
tone. For
it
sure. Yeah,
is. It really
yeah,
is. And all the la 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 la. And
yeah,
that's Ringo in there
yeah, and you get
singing
the
with the rest of them, I think.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and you get the feeling that they kind of like just pulled that one out of their rear end, but that doesn't make it doesn't make it any less compelling to me. Because like I said, it's just got a majestic, supremely
Yeah.
majestic vibe in it, and it's
I
like,
think it's beautiful. I just think it fits on that album perfectly.
yeah,
It's just I liked how they were getting so experimental on that album.
oh yeah, yeah. I think actually flying kind of, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I don't want to I'll get in a rabbit hole too much here, stay on topic, but just briefly, isn't it correct to say that the material that was on Magical Mystery Tour was just kind of cut from the recording sessions for Sergeant Pepper's and whatever was cut, it was some of the best tracks that were cut from Pepper's just went into the Magical Mystery Tour album. So that like they were kind of part of the same set of recordings.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about all that, but yeah, I mean, I only know that because you told me about it. But
I think
but I
I've
mean,
read.
it just does sound very similar. I always thought that it was that the Magical Mystery Tour stuff was a separate recording session from Sergeant Pepper's or a different, I don't know what you call it, um, different group of sessions or whatever. I don't know. I don't know like all the complete history of how they recorded everything and all of that.
Well, I think the way I heard it the way I heard it described more or less is that there are tracks on Sergeant Pepper's that were recorded later than the ones that were recorded on the Magical Mystery Tour. That
Oh,
Sergeant Pepper's came out, I think, in early 1967, like in March or April of 1967, and I believe Magical Mystery Tour came out in like June or July of 1967. But there are tracks on, I'll have to check, but I think there are some tracks on Magical Mystery Tour that were recorded before the ones on Sergeant Pepper's, and there are ones on Sergeant Pepper's that were recorded like after the ones that were recorded on some that were recorded.
okay. Okay. I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I think the first cut was Sergeant Pepper's was
So
the one.
they had like this big, huge explosion of creativity, and that resulted in those two albums.
Yeah, I think that everything that was on Sergeant Pepper's and on Magical Mystery Tour was recorded in late 1966 and early 1967.
Okay.
So sometimes there were a period of a couple of months from when a track was recorded until it was released on one of those two albums.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
think how how it was,
Yeah.
but yeah, but there wasn't like a hard line between those two albums in terms of the recording.
Okay.
I
I
think
just
that's
always assumed that they would be like recorded Peppers in '67, and then they recorded Magical Mystery Tour in '68.
no,
Like
no, they both came, there were two albums that came out in 67, right? Both of them came
I
out.
I guess I don't know.
I think so because
Did they both come out in '67?
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I think it
And
was
then the White Album was when '68. Okay.
68. Yeah.
Okay, well
And then
maybe I guess you're right.
yeah, and then Abbey Road came out in 69.
Oh yeah, okay.
Let It
Now
Be.
see, I was thinking the White Album came out in '69, but I'm like, I've got my timeline all mixed up. And I think their first four albums were all released in the same year, or all like recorded in the same year, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, there's something like that. What was it on Rubber Soul? There was a track on there that was recorded in 1963 or something, if I
Oh,
remember.
Rubber Soul.
Yeah, I
Well, you
think.
had like
Yeah.
with the Beatles. If you're talking about the British releases, you had with the Beatles,
Hmm.
and then what was after with the Beatles? Hard Day's Night.
Hmm.
Then what was after that? Beatles for Sale.
I think so. I'm not really good on the earlier albums. I'm always more focused on everything from Revolver to Let It Be.
No, it was Please Please Me.
Uh,
That might have been 63 actually. Anyway, I'm getting all into I'm getting into the weeds over here, like trying to
yeah,
figure out all that stuff. But
we can
I'm
put some
sorry
notes
if
here on the
I
screen.
annoyed anybody with my incorrect recording dates and release dates and whatnot, because I know
No
there's like
problem.
8 million Beatles experts out there that'll let you know when you get something wrong.
There's
So
some,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
there's always someone out there with a big nose who knows and who trips you up and laughs when you fall. You remember the Morrissey song?
Oh,
Oh, that's the Smiths
I
song.
don't know. I don't know if I've heard that one.
Yeah, I'm way getting off topic. But what is your number four top Beatles song?
My number four Beatles song is Savoy Truffle, another
Oh yeah.
one from George Harrison. And
Hmm.
that song is basically George Harrison talking about how eating lots of candy will give you cavities.
And you know he dedicated that song to his buddy Eric Clapton because Eric Clapton had a real sweet tooth, and so that was kind of like Harrison talking about Clapton's love for truffles.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't
Yep.
know that.
Yeah, yeah, and
Well,
evidently Harrison also partook of the truffle uh, candies and enjoyed them as well. So maybe they bonded over that love for a fine chocolate.
okay. Now that's not a euphemism of some kind, is it?
Nope, it's
Like,
just
okay,
no,
okay.
from what I read, it was just a casual observation. It was just like Harrison going, "Oh, you really like those, don't you?" Yes, I'm quite fond of them actually. And it's like, "Oh, I think I'd write a tune about you really getting into these Savoy truffles." Yeah, and I was like, "You can't be serious." Oh yeah,
I love the lyric. He's like naming off all these types of, I guess, truffles,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he says, but you'll have to have them all pulled out after the Savoy truffle. Like, talk about you'll have to have your teeth pulled out because you got a million cavities. That kind of reminds me when I was a teenager and I had kind of bad dental hygiene when
Oh
I
yeah,
was a teenager, and I would
yeah.
go a couple of days at a time without brushing my teeth. And then when I finally went back to the dentist, I had about 8 cavities in that that I
Yeah.
had to get. I had to get about 8 fillings all at one time, and that was a rude awakening right there. So
Yeah, that is.
George Harrison was right. I should have listened to George Harrison and br brush
Well,
my. Well, he did. He's not. He doesn't say anything about brushing your teeth, but that'll help if you eat a lot of candy. That'll help.
well,
It's
Eric
good to
Clapton.
have good dental hygiene, but it's just a cool song anyway.
It is, and Eric
I love
Clapton.
the way it sounds. It's just great.
Yeah, it's a cool song. And like the little what horns in the background are a nice touch as
Oh
well.
yeah, the horns. Oh man, the horns just make that whole song, man.
If you run into if I ever had a chance to run into Eric Clapton, I would definitely present him with a box of chocolate truffles. Just kind of
That'd be great. Yeah, yeah.
as a kind of a nod to his friendship with George
It's
Harrison.
it's kind of amazing how George Harrison had this talent for just coming up with these amazing songs, just so kind of from out of nowhere. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they didn't sound like any other songs, like you were saying, Within You, Without You,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
Savoy Truffle, and
yeah,
then Tax Man, like one of the best songs on Revolver, and
yeah,
like also on the White Album, he had Piggies.
yeah.
You know,
That's a
it's
good one.
just all these. He would come up with just these odd songs, but they were just like really great and really unique. You know, and
Yeah,
it's like you could hear almost see Paul and John saying, "Well, we don't give you that many songs and albums, but that one there, we've got to put it on the album. It's just too good." You know, it's like so every once in a while he would just come up with songs that were just so good they just had to put them on the Beatles albums,
yeah. He was a
even though
real
John and Paul wanted all the credit. You know, they had to
he
they
he
they
was a real talent. Yeah,
yeah. George was good, great songwriter.
he was. Okay, so I'm going to move to my number three, and maybe not such a surprising selection is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. When
Yeah,
I was a little kid, discovered the Beatles when I was about 5 or 6 years old, put the album on. It was like all I want to listen to. And my favorite song was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I love that little harpsichord entry coming in. Dun,
yeah,
dun, 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 dun. It's such a beautiful little melody there. And I didn't know anything about the acronym, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, the LSD there. Of course, didn't know anything about that when I was a little kid. To me, it just seemed like a very imaginative kind of a song. And so it's kind of like when John Lennon says, I think it was about, LSD, but it was not. It was about my son, and he drew a picture and we looked at it, and I said, well, what is this? He says, it's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And I said, well, write a song about that. And it's like a lot of people think, come on, but I'm like, yeah, there might be something to it because I remember when I was a little kid, I thought it was something I could imagine drawing in a picture with my paper and crayons and
yeah.
doing something like that.
I
So, yeah,
I think it's possible that that's where it came from,
yeah,
but I think it's also possible that John, after hearing that, it kind of came into his head that was an acronym for something else that he knew about.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's a masterpiece, piece of music. And one of the things I really like about it is the gentleness of it. It's not a hard rock song by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
It's more kind of in line with Beach Boys, Pet Sounds type of a vibe. Uh,
yeah,
it's a very gentle song. It does have a heavy part there when he brings in the chorus. Uh, and then some of the fade out parts. What I really like about it is the structure of the song. It's very complex with a lot of different parts and transitions and things.
yeah,
It's kind of like a miniaturized version of Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys.
yeah. I actually heard the Elton John version of that song before I heard the Beatles version.
Oh, you did, huh?
But I loved the Elton John versions. Like I think I was sitting in a restaurant with my mother and sister and the Elton John version came over the speaker, and I was just hypnotized by that song. It was like just so unlike anything I had ever heard, you know. And
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, I became like a huge Elton John fan because of that song, and also because of Elton's cover of Pinball Wizard.
Yeah,
Like Elton had a knack for just doing really good cover versions of other
he did.
people's songs, you know.
He did. He put his own imprint on them too. It made it really
Yeah,
uniquely his own. So yeah,
yeah,
both of those cover versions are noteworthy to say the least. Yeah,
right, right.
they're really great. So what's your number three?
But I had to put an older song on my list just because I think some of their older songs don't get as much attention. So at number three, I've got "Tell Me What You See,"
Oh
and
yeah.
that was on the British version of "Help," and it was also on the Capitol release called "Beatles Six," which is actually one of my favorite Beatles albums. But
Mhm.
yeah, I that was I bought the Beatles Six album when I was actually in my 20s.
Mhm.
I think I was about 21 or 22, and I was going through a Beatles phase. And so I went out and found that in the store and bought it, and it's got a lot of sort of deeper tracks from the Beatles that you don't hear. Like it's got some of the songs they took off of the British Help,
Mhm.
and so a couple of them that they took off of Beatles for Sale, and they like made all and with a couple of singles. It's got 8 Days a Week and like I think Kansas City. But it's just a great album. But Tell Me What You See is one of the songs on there, and I just think that's just such an amazing song.
Yeah.
And the guitar, it sounds almost like a 12 string or something, but this was like before they were getting into their like supposedly psychedelic period. Like this predates Rubber Soul, but you can really that period of their music, you can really hear the artistic development in their
Yeah.
songwriting.
I
And
love I love
it's
the drum fill. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but yeah, it's just a great song. And
Yeah.
it's got like the little electric piano, and it's
Mhm.
got the great drums, and it's kind of simple, but it's just amazing to me. Like
Yeah.
that whole album to me, Beatles Six is just. I'm one of these weird people that prefers the American releases over the British releases, just because those are the ones that I'm familiar with,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But anyway, had to throw that one in there. It's sort of a deep cut that not many people really know about that much.
I really like that track a lot. I love the keyboards in it. I think that maybe George Martin played the keyboards in there. I'm not sure, but there's a really great it's really
Yeah,
really
yeah,
nice little keyboard part in there, and also I love it when Ringo comes in on that drum break. It's such a when the song's kicking back in, the instruments come in, and then there's a delayed thing where he does that kind of roll in. That's kind of
yeah.
he just kind of launches into the song after the other instruments have already gotten going, and that's
Hmm.
so cool and unexpected, So they were even before they were becoming properly, psychedelic or experimental. There were still some things in that song that show that type of innovation, that willingness to do things that are different, that are unexpected.
Yeah, yeah. You could really see how their songwriting was progressing
Hmm.
toward their more critically acclaimed albums like Rubber Soul and Revolver. In a way, I don't know if I should say this, but I kind of feel like in some ways, like the British Help is almost better than Rubber Soul. Like that's how much I like it. Or Beatles Six. Like I feel for sure that Beatles Six is better than Rubber Soul. but that's probably a real controversial opinion. Probably just because it's an American release
Mhm.
and everybody's been trained to like shun the American releases. But I'll stop talking about Beatles Six now. But
Okay.
y'all should definitely check that album.
Well, let's see what people say in the comments down below. Do you like the British releases better, the American ones? What are the pros and cons? Get a discussion thread going. That would might be interesting. So I'll move on to a number two here. My number two favorite Beatles song on the list is "She Said, She Said." So I really, really like that song. It's such a powerful song, and there's something about it that if you look at their discography, everything that they had come out with up to that point, and when you get to "She Said, You Said," she said, it's kind of like uh, there's a different feeling to that track. You have a sense that you've been talking to, it's like, I'm using a metaphor here. You've been talking to somebody for a long time and you get accustomed to their voice and their mannerisms and things. And suddenly they say something which makes you realize that they have evolved very rapidly as a person, they just, some like, well, I've decided that I'm going to, and then you hear the big, announcement about something they've done with their life and
Hmm.
realize that the kind of person that you knew before is maybe still kind of there, but not in the same way. And I feel like that the song She Said" was kind of the Beatles kind of announcing to everybody that they had kind of crossed a threshold or something. They were on a they had gone into a different plane of existence. Uh,
Yeah.
and because it doesn't feel
Hmm.
like anything that had come in their discography before it. And where is that? Which album is She Said" off of? Is it on Revolver?
Yeah. It's on a Revolver.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
I,
it's yeah.
I almost put that in my top five. I thought about that because I really love that song too. And I think that's just such a mind-blowing song and it's got such a modern sound to it, like the just the whole chord progression and melody and everything. It sounds like something that would come out today or 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 in recent times. It's just that's just an amazing song. And
It is.
that first lyric, she said, "I know what it's like to be dead." Like that is such a cool lyric. Like you didn't hear lyrics like that in songs, before that.
So there's the story behind that song is very interesting. He used the expression "she said." What Lennon really meant to say was he said, and not she. He turned it into she as a way to kind of cover up the real origins of the song. It was a discussion that he had with uh, who was it? Some famous actor. Not it wasn't he was the guy who was in that film with Jack Nicholson, Easy Rider. Who was that guy? Henry, no, Peter Fonda, no, Henry Fonda. It was Peter Fonda. Peter Fonda is the younger one, right? Yeah, Peter.
I think so.
Yeah, so John Lennon was having a conversation, if I remember this correctly, with Peter Fonda while they were under the effects of LSD, and uh, and that basically the lyrics of the song were the essence of the conversation. So Peter Fonda said to them something like, I know what it's like to be dead. And then Lennon's response was, "You're making me feel like I've never been born." And so they just kind of wrote that down in the moment. And then so it's basically the notes that Lennon had taken from that conversation that he had with Peter Fonda. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, yeah. And then he just changed the he to she just to disguise Peter Fonda's identity, I guess.
Okay.
Later on he said, "Yeah, well that's really what it was about." But it's a discussion that two guys were having, about, deeply philosophical stuff. And that's cool because I mean who writes a song about that, I mean
Yeah.
they wrote about it back then, but to this day, I mean, I can't think of any song that I can think of where where you sing about a conversation you had with somebody about the deeper meaning of existence on that level. It's like the only one I can think of. So that makes the song really unique, and I
Yeah,
think that's
it's kind of a goth vibe to it, you know.
yeah,
It's like it's just got this sort of dark, more serious feeling to it, you know. It's like so many of their other songs were just kind of lighthearted and silly and goofy, but like on this one, Lennon was just getting pretty heavy, you know. That's a pretty heavy song.
it is. It is.
That song is part of what makes Revolver. Revolver to me is the greatest album ever made, you know. And I think that song is one of the best songs on that album. So
Yeah, it is.
I
It
think
is.
that's a good pick, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, thank you. What's your number two?
My number two is the song before that on that album, Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine.
And I absolutely love Yellow Submarine. And I know some people say it's annoying or some people don't like it, but
Yeah, I got a call.
I guess for just about any song, there's going to be some people that don't like it. But
Yeah, I gotta call out my former bandmate who was I was kind of playing in his band
uh,
and he said you can help me come up with the set list. You want to recommend a song? We'll see if we can do it, you know. So he came up with a song, like 9 times out of 10 I'd say, okay, yeah, we can do that. But then he said, what about you? And I said, well, I like Yellow Submarine. He said, I no way in hell am I doing that song. No way. That insipid, disgusting, throwaway piece of trash that the Beatles did. Do something good by the Beatles. That was not good. And I was like, man, you sure are hard on Yellow Submarine. He says, I have no respect for that song. And I was like, I like it, you know. I said, I think it's
man,
cool.
I love Yellow Submarine. It's
Yeah.
just one of the greatest. That happy sing along chorus is just like it's a silly song. That's why I love it, you know.
Yeah, same here.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we don't want to be serious. We just want to be silly and have fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned how to play it, and so even though I couldn't get it into this band because the band leader didn't want it, I still played it. I still have it.
I think I used to know how to play that too,
It's not
way
hard.
back a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah,
It's got a lot of chords to it, but it's you know
not too
it's a
hard.
pretty complicated song, but I just love the chorus, like how they're all singing along on the chorus and that drum that's like
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
drum's kind of silly sounding on the chorus, you know, and then
yeah.
all the little sound effects. It's just amazing, you know.
It's a great song. The concept is very
It's like a happy song. It's like cheers me. It always used to cheer me up when I listened to it when I
yeah,
was a
same here.
teenager.
Same
Because
here.
I was not a very happy teenager, you know. But
Well,
when I heard that song, it just cheered me up, you know.
you go to a party and you got, especially if you've got girls there, and you go in there and you say, well, all right, ladies, what do you want to hear? I could play, like some hard rock tune, She's So Heavy, or I could play Yellow Submarine. And all the ladies are going to go, play Yellow Submarine, play that. We like that song. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Yeah, see the ladies know what's going on.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So you ought to, if you're smart, you'll have that one in your songbook.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one to know to play on if
Yeah.
there's an acoustic guitar sitting around somewhere and you just want to
Yeah.
belt out a song or two, you know, that's a good one to have in your
Yeah,
back
for
pocket.
sure. I I agree. I agree. Well, it's time for our number one songs. And
Okay.
my number one Beatles song, drum roll. I had to think about this one a lot. I mean, this is almost an impossible list because you know, there's so many great songs, and it's almost like a Rorschach test, you know, like whatever pops up first, whatever you just grab on.
Yeah.
So this is very personal for me, but I had to pick my number one as Tomorrow Never Knows, off of the Revolver album.
Same
And
album we were talking about for the last two songs. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I had to pick Tomorrow Never Knows because I just feel like it's a song that just kind of revolutionized music. It's
Hmm.
in hindsight, you know, they say hindsight is 2020. I think at the time it came out, it may have just seemed like a curiosity to a lot of people, but looking back on it, you know, you can see, wow, you know, I mean, so much developed from Tomorrow Never Knows in modern music. You know, you could take 1966, that song came out. If somebody came up with a song like Tomorrow Never Knows today, it would blow people's mind, even today. I mean, that's just what a
Yeah.
radical song it is. And I've watched videos, I've read you know, analyses of the song about everything about it that was you know, groundbreaking. Even the recording process, the way, you know, the drums sound huge in that track, just huge drums. And it turns out it's because they had an engineer in there who said, I want to push this microphone all the way up against the kit. And the people that ran the studio said, you know, these are very sensitive mics. You're going to bust them, and then they're going to fire you because these are very expensive mics. And if you bust them recording them that way, you're out of a job. And he said, I don't care because we got to get a special sound out of it. And now that type of miking and to get that type of sound is very common practice, but it was not in 1966. So it wasn't just the Beatles; it was the recording people in there. There was just a collaborative spirit among everybody working on that song in the studio that made it into what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, one criticism I heard about it is how could you drift off into a mystical state while you had seagulls screaming in your ear? You know, so I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of funny that they made that. But I think that really though the chaotic sounds there of those, I guess you could call them birds or seagulls or whatever they are, is kind of part of the whole experience of getting blown away sonically. And I think, you know, anybody who's kind of picking the song apart there is missing the point. The point of it is that the chaotic nature of it, the you know, the Jackson Pollock type, because it's kind of a Jackson Pollock song. Everything's kind of splattered out,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
it
know.
really is.
And McCartney's bass line in that song is I mean, it's just nothing short of revolutionary. Anybody to come up with a bass riff like that and to just hold it down all the way through, you know, and it's supposed to be a pop song, and you know, there's no chorus, there's no, I mean, they're transitions in the song, but it's just basically that one drone note all the way through, man. And
Yeah, yeah.
so, I mean, on so many levels, that song is just an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and I gotta give a shout out to Phil Collins. He did a really amazing cover version of Tomorrow Never Knows.
Really?
It's the last song on his first solo album, but y'all should check that one out.
I should.
He did it justice, in my
Okay.
opinion.
I got to check it out. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's after all, Phil Collins was playing in Genesis in the early 70s. So you
yeah,
kind of forget about that because he became, you know, Mr. Mainstream pop, but there was a
yeah,
time when he was laying down the psychedelic vibe pretty thick, you know. So
yeah, yeah. And I think in an interview one time he credited the Beatles with being the inspiration for the whole progressive rock movement.
yeah.
So he was a big Beatles fan,
Well, that's cool to know.
obviously, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So what's your number one?
My number one is I Am the Walrus.
All right.
'Cause I grew up hearing that song on the radio when I was about 5 years old, and it absolutely just blew my mind. and rocked my world and just expanded my horizons. And that song
Yeah,
is just such a mind-blowing song on so many levels,
it is.
like musically it's brilliant, like lyrically it's kind of just weird and dark and crazy and I just love everything about it, you know.
It's a dark song. It's a very dark kind of a song, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very intense, and there seems to be something about it. I mean, lyrically, the lyrics are very cryptic, you know, but the thrust of the lyrics seems to be like I'm living in a world of you know, nastiness and smelliness and ugliness and awfulness, you know, and he's kind of like look how repulsive and ridiculous all this is, and you know, this it's like a feeling of disgust all the way through the song. I mean, that's my
I
interpretation.
like the part about sitting in the English garden waiting for the sun.
Yeah. This, if the sun doesn't come, you get a tan from standing in the English rain.
Right, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's just the lyrics are just they're kind of nonsensical, I think, but that's what I love about it, you know. It's just it's got the people chanting at the end, you know, got one, everybody's got one. Like
yeah.
it's just to me, it's them at their most experimental, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and how
Yeah.
that made it onto mainstream pop radio is just still amazing to me. That song got airplay if and you compare it to what you hear on the radio these days. There's just nothing that compares to it, you know.
No, I mean, even if somebody released a track like "I Am the Walrus" today, people would be like, "Whoa, what the heck is this?" It would still sound bizarre and intense after, I mean, what was that track released almost 60 years ago, and it
Yeah,
still sounds really intense and intensely strange even today. Yeah. But yeah, I think I you know, every time I hear your comments, I think I could have put that on my list. And I'm
yeah,
sure you probably feel the same way when you hear mine. So
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think we didn't have any overlapping songs, I don't think.
Nope.
That's
That's
pretty
good.
good. That's
Yeah.
we didn't have any for our Led Zeppelin picks either, so
No.
we'll see how many videos we can go without having any overlapping top songs, you know.
I
But
think we could have overlapping top songs if we did if we used a different criteria. If we said like not our top five Beatles songs or our top five Led Zeppelin songs, but rather the songs that we think are the most popular ones by the general public, then
oh
we probably
yeah,
have to
no,
over.
that wouldn't be as fun, you know.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't want to talk about what the public likes. I just want to talk about what I like.
Yeah. Although to be fair, you know, if you gave me the list of the top five Beatles songs by you know, like number of hits on Spotify, I'd probably tell you I like all of those songs for sure. You know, I
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can't go wrong with the Beatles.
no, I guess not, or with Zeppelin for that matter. Although, well, I don't know, but I want to get off topic here. So anyway, those are our top five Beatles songs. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
And also let us know if you want us to do the top five songs from another band.
Yeah.
Leave the name of the artist in the comments.
All right. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.